Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thank you to those who are here live. Excited for what we get to learn today and what we get to create right here on the Gratitude Call. And also want to welcome many of those of you who are listening on the podcast. And I encourage you to join our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude, if you're listening to just the podcast, so that we can continue our interaction there and get to know you. We here on the live call have this bond. It's like this energetic bond that happens here because we're just creating in this beautiful space. And I know when you listen to the podcast and you're participating with us, I'm sure that you feel that bond as well. And we would love to know who you are. So I encourage you to go to the Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude, if you haven't joined that yet, and share with us a little bit about you. Tell us what you're getting from the call. We would love to continue our interaction there. Today, as we go into our 90-second meditation, just as I kind of glance over some of the things that were shared before we started the recording, we do some rounds of gratitude before we start the recording that help us to know, kind of what's on everybody's heart this morning. And I feel that there's a lot of gratitude for the ability to change and, God's wisdom and mercy. And let's see some of the other things. Repentance, strength from the Savior, the ability to forgive, and energetic healing is another. Actually, I think I'm going to use that as our focus today, energetic healing, because you know what? I'm just going to take the word energetic off, and we're just going to say healing. Because, I think about somebody mentioned that they were grateful for a migraine-free morning. Another person mentioned they were grateful for the lessons of pain. And, the strength of the Savior, his strength, his mission, his purpose was all about healing. And so I just feel like that's the word that we're going to focus on today. So I'm going to set the timer for 90 seconds, and we're going to just sit silently, private meditation, just listening for any thoughts or ideas that come to you into your heart on the subject of gratitude for healing. And we'll do that for 90 seconds, then we'll share. So 90-second private silent meditation on gratitude for healing, begin. All right. I am just seeing really the connection between energetic healing and physical healing. Like when we have stuck emotions or limiting beliefs or thoughts that are, weighing heavy on our hearts or our shoulders, we're carrying the weight of the world, or whatever, there's different ideas, limiting beliefs, things like that can get stuck inside of our physical bodies. And I'm just really seeing the connection of that. A couple of days ago, I think it was on Saturday actually, I did a call with a new, hopefully, client. He did one call with me on Saturday, and really he called me for something completely different. But as he was talking, he shared with me that he'd been going to physical therapy for his neck, and it was causing headaches. And we talked about that for just a moment, and we really discovered that his throat chakra, he was really suppressing himself, not able to fully express himself. Even within his family, he wasn't able to fully express himself, and he had shut off the communication lines from God. He wasn't connecting. He didn't know if God even existed anymore. He was, just really doubting that there was a connection there. And so to be able to express himself to God and to be able to receive inspiration from God was being cut off. And also he was cutting off his ability to express to his family and receive love from his family. And so as we talked about that, and I haven't actually had a chance to follow up with him yet, so I don't know what change has happened with his neck, but it was very apparent that making those choices and those decisions to really hide within himself and to shut off all that communication was definitely causing not being able to express yourself is related to your throat chakra. And so it definitely was causing some neck pain, and as a result, headaches. So that's what I'm focused on this morning, was just definitely the connection between energetic and physical pain and also healing. Who else has something they would like to share?
I'll share.
Thanks, Melissa.
So I was thinking about the difference between God, or like Jehovah in the Old Testament, who's all about justice and, giving out kind of like consequences for bad behavior, versus Jesus in the New Testament, who's all about love and healing and mercy. And not that that's not in the Old Testament, it obviously is, but just kind of looking, I just feel so grateful that we have those, two kind of characteristics of God. And I was thinking about just how I personally have felt his mercy and his healing in my life, personally. And I just had this sense overcome me that like we haven't even seen anything yet. Like there's been so many miraculous healings in the scriptures and in people's experiences, and it's just the beginning of it. And so I just feel like a really positive and excited energy for the healing that is going to take place in the next while.
Wow, beautiful. I'm really excited for that too. Thank you, Melissa. And I saw something that I hadn't really caught in the scriptures before, as you mentioned about the two, the contrast of like the law of Moses, and then when Jesus, the law was fulfilled, and then he brought with him a new law, and the new law is to have to come to him with a broken heart and a contrite spirit. And I know because I had broken heart syndrome. That was my heart attack that I had 8 years ago. And so I know that that's an actual thing, physical thing. He's also, suggesting to come, being broken like a horse is broken, ready to be molded and shaped to become more useful. But I'm seeing that as a very physical thing. Come, bring me your broken heart, and I will heal it. And I hadn't really ever seen that before. Thank you. Who else has something they'd like to share?
I'll share.
Linda, thank you.
So this morning I do have a migraine, and it just feels frustrating sometimes when so what I do for a living is I help others come to Christ and to find that healing. And I get many reviews, good reviews and things like that. And then to have this pain that seems to get worse and worse, I'm get frustrated, like, what am I missing? Like you talked about that throat chakra and your client, on how it's connected with the neck pain and the headaches, and I get those often, and I talk a lot, so I'm just be prayerful about what am I missing if I speak so much, and I'm what am I missing that keeps that throat chakra so close up, that causes so much pain. And it reminded me of this weekend. We were camping with some new friends, taking them camping for the first time, and they asked what I do, and I told them, well, right now I'm studying for marriage and family relations. And she asked, well, what brought you to that? And I said, well, in order to save my husband, to save my marriage with my husband, I started learning marriage and family relations, and then I just went with it. It was so good. And I kind of feel like that's the similar thing with finding Christ and leading others to Christ is the thing that you need most. You just study and help people along the way. And it's just an interesting pattern that the Savior has in place for us when we're frustrated and we feel like we have no control. The most important thing is to come to acceptance and to just go with it and continue to learn.
Beautiful. I want to just point out the connection that I'm seeing between your migraine and your marriage. You, in your marriage, most people would go to like marriage counseling, or they would look to the other person like, what are you doing wrong? Or what am I doing wrong, within the marriage? But you actually went to study and learning about what creates a strong marriage. And I just want to really point that out to you and celebrate you for looking beyond the problem to going back to, well before the problem started. Let's see how, to create a really good foundation. And so I encourage you to do the same thing with a migraine or a headache. The typical thing is take some medicine, or go lay down or whatever, fix the problem. But I just encourage you to, as you're looking for what am I missing, that you go to well before the migraine starts. And this will take, maybe some, a little more contemplation. So just, plan some time for yourself to just sit and listen. Where can I go to learn and understand the source of migraines?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Can I say something on this?
Yeah, go for it, Bill.
What popped into my mind was Mother Teresa, and some of the people in her country wanted her to join an anti-war rally or an anti-violence rally or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she declined. and she said that she wouldn't join an anti-war rally, but she would join a pro-peace rally.
Mm.
And so, like, it kind of shows you her mind, about what she walked toward.
Mm-hmm.
And she, didn't really fight against something that was bad, because, giving resistance to something that is bad
Mm-hmm.
gives it more power. And so, yeah, anyway, I just thought
Awesome.
I'd throw that in there because I think it ties into what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you saying that. And I think that's so appropriate for the circumstances, the things that are happening in our world today too, is what we put our energy into is going to grow. And so if we're putting energy into anti anything, then it's going to just cause more exacerbation. It's like, pouring salt on a wound. But to put our energy into the thing that we want, the peaceful, the happy outcome, that's what's going to create healing. Thank you. Any last thoughts before we shift over to our permission process? Awesome. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Also, just want to share one other thought for all of us that Melinda has opened up, that as we seek for the source of the pain, that is where we can also find the antidote. And so, feeling gratitude for the pain, because otherwise we wouldn't be seeking for the source of it. We wouldn't have found the antidote. And so we can actually express some gratitude for whatever it is that we need healing from. This gives us an opportunity to look deeper, go back further, find the source, and to heal that at the source, to totally remove it from our being. And take one more deep breath. Just invite you to become clear with whatever it is that you need healing from. So be open to allow that to surface. Maybe it's something that you've been trying to push aside because you don't want to think about it or worry about it, or you wish it wasn't there, whatever. So maybe it's a situation that's happening in our world today, or maybe it's a pain that you have inside of your body. Maybe it is a relationship that is broken. Whatever you need healing from, just write that down and put a big heart around it. And maybe draw some flowers and kisses. XOXO, hug and kiss around what it is that you need to heal. Just give it some love for just a moment. Express gratitude for being aware of it and for it expressing itself in such a big way in your life right now. Because being aware of it and knowing it is the first step to healing. And now that you have expressed some gratitude for that healing, just invite you to be aware of where in your body you have been storing that. Whether that is in your head or your neck or your heart or your shoulders, your feet, wherever it is, just be energetically aware of where that pain has been being settled. And allow yourself to really become aware of that area of your body. And just as you have put a big heart around this word and flowers and hugs and kisses, allow yourself to express yourself to this area of your body and express that love and gratitude to that area of your body. And notice if there is a physical change. And listen with your heart. And what would this feeling like to do? Would it like to stay here, or would it like to move? And whatever it feels like this feeling would like to do, can you let it? If it wants to stay, can you let it? If it wants to move, can you let it? And based on whatever you're willing, allow that feeling to go wherever it would like to go, and just watch it until it feels like it has gone to where it wants to be. And after this experience is complete for you, I invite you to write down any changes that you've noticed in your body, and also any changes in the way that you feel now about this feeling, this pain, and any limiting beliefs that you still are holding on to. And my guess is that some of you may not even have any limiting beliefs left, but if you do, write those down and examine the cost of holding on to those limiting beliefs. And as you're becoming more clear of what the cost has been to keeping these limiting beliefs, you can make a choice. You can allow yourself to hold on to that limiting belief, or you can choose to give yourself permission to choose a new belief. And based on your experience today and knowing full well what these limiting beliefs are producing for you, I invite you to give yourself permission to choose a new belief. And if you're ready to do that, say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. So what are some new beliefs? Choose 2 or 3 new beliefs that will really allow you to let go fully of those limiting beliefs, will allow you to bring in some new understanding, some new freedom, new love and gratitude beliefs. Choose 2 or 3 new beliefs that will really allow you to bring that feeling of love and gratitude into that space and to move forward with something new. And then take those new beliefs and visualize and yourself energetically bringing these new beliefs into that space where that old pain was. And again, just putting hearts and flowers and hugs and kisses and just everything that you can think of that represents love, gratitude, peace, and a feeling of wholeness and healing. And thanking Christ for his atonement, who gave us the power to heal ourselves with him and gives us the opportunity to change in every way and to be complete and whole. And now that you have brought in this feeling of wholeness, there's one last step, and that is to know what your inspired shortcut is. What is the number one most important thing that you could do today to express gratitude for this sense of healing that you've felt inside of your body? Number one most important thing that you can express, that you can do to express gratitude and healing in whatever the area was, whether it be body or if it was a relationship or your finances or whatever it is, wherever you had been feeling pain, what is the one most important thing you can do now to express gratitude for healing? In a moment, I'm going to open it up for some shares, and would love to just hear anybody's thoughts on the changes that you've noticed just in this last few minutes. If anybody is still feeling like they need some extra support in this area, I would love to have a conversation with you. Just go to askwylene.com, and that will take you to my calendar, and you can schedule a 15-minute call with me. It's a free call, and I would love to have that 15 minutes with you just to get that final feeling of healing that you have been seeking for. Who has something that they would like to share about their experience today?
I had a really powerful experience. I went on a yoga and hiking retreat this weekend, and I realized that we talked about the Enneagram, which is a kind of like a personality, test. There's 9 different numbers that associate to 9 different personality types. And as I was talking to a friend who actually was the yoga instructor, we were talking about what our numbers are, and I realized that my number that I thought I was not actually who I really am. It was kind of a persona that I was taking on.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was talking with another girl who, did energetic healing, I realized this, and I just started crying, and it was just such a good cry because I felt like I was shedding the false energy that I was holding inside of me, trying to be something different than I really was. And as I was doing this meditation, I realized last weekend that the tensions in my solar plexus. And as we were doing this meditation, I realized that I have this area around my solar plexus that's inflamed physically. And I realized that my dad does too. And that, I've always thought, oh, it's just genetic, it's where I gain my weight, is right in my gut, or my, around my solar plexus. And I realized that my dad also has those tendencies to just be really rigid and stubborn and, wanting to be right. And that it just was so clear to me that my power and my purpose and my core was, I was trying to will it. I was trying to do something that just wasn't in God's will for me, but I was just trying to make it happen. And I was just like, I'm not stopping. I'm just going to make it happen. And, like determination and perseverance, like those are great traits that I learned from my dad. But I saw the character flaw in those, in trying to force those things to happen, and just how I need to heal my solar plexus. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but finding that source, like you were saying, I found the source, and I know how to heal is through, aligning my will with God's will. And so now I'm just open to it.
And my new thoughts are that I'm whole and complete just the way I am, that I'm completely worthy aside from the things I do. And I'm at peace with God's will for me, and I don't have to change it. Because my old thoughts were that I have to achieve, I have to like earn it. I have to like prove myself. And so my shortcut today is just to love myself exactly as I am. And it's just really powerful for me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all of that, Melissa. I've just felt that you were speaking for a lot of people. And I want to actually end with, I think I do want to have one more share. I know there's somebody else that needs to share. But I do want to just have this moment to allow some generational healing. And Tammy, who is on this call, she's not on the call today, but she's on the call almost every day, and you can reach her through that Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude, Tammy Phelan. She's very gifted in generational healing. And so if there's anybody within the sound of my voice that needs that, go to that Facebook group and seek her out. But I have just a little process that I do that is very effective with that as well. When we take on the beliefs of other people, even if they, like you were saying, Melissa, if they feel really positive and good, like they're good character traits or whatever, but a lot of times there's like a dark and light, there's opposition in all things. And this is a way that you can give that back to your dad, and possibly he got it from other generations previously, and we can actually give it back to the source. And just all I'm just going to walk everybody through this right now. Just takes like a minute. Just go ahead and take a deep breath and focus on that area of your body where you've been carrying that. And you know, Melissa, that this came from your dad. And even if you don't know for sure that it is somebody else's, if it really is yours, or if it's somebody else's, you can just say this, and it will release it back to the person or to the source of it. And that is just focusing on that area and just say, return to sender with full consciousness attached. And say it out loud, return to sender with full consciousness attached. And the reason why I add that full consciousness attached is because we're not giving it back in anger, like, why did you teach me this or whatever. So you're sending it back to allow that person to have full consciousness of what this really means and how it had affected, future generations, and for them to be able to create that healing within themselves. So not only are you healing yourself, but you're also giving the opportunity to heal past generations and, of course, future generations, because you're not going to be passing it on. So you healing within yourself, sending that back to the source, you are actually creating healing and wholeness in both directions. Is there someone else that would like to share?
I would like to share here.
Thanks, Phil.
When you asked us to explore limiting beliefs, I actually explored my limited beliefs. And I think there's a difference, because I hold on to truths that are true, like my belief about God and my belief about, purpose and things like that. But if I can allow for something more light, more truth to infiltrate into me, a higher understanding, and ask that question, what else could be true, and let that augment my limited belief, then it allows myself to open up to other possibilities. I know that similar similar, but to me, it just had different context this morning. To be having a limiting belief, which is one that you're holding on to that is not true, instead of just one that could have more light and understanding spread onto it. So
beautiful. I think a lot of times we are limited by what we allow in. And a lot of that is because we are in pain. You know, we're feeling pain, or we're afraid of pain, or whatever. But if we can completely open up, and there's a lot of trust there, a lot of trust in yourself that I can handle it. Whatever comes from me completely opening up and listening and learning and finding the answers, whatever happens, I can handle it. I mean, there's a lot of power in opening up, in unstopping our, you know, the ability for us to receive. So I'm really seeing the power of taking off our limited beliefs and allowing ourselves to get more light, more knowledge, more understanding, to be completely open. Thank you. I wish we could continue, because I know there's just tons that could be shared. This has been very beautiful, and just I feel the love and the healing from all of you. So thank you. Look forward to being back together 7 a.m. tomorrow, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. And I do encourage you to go to our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude. Share your experience there. I know that whatever you have to share is going to touch someone in a really powerful way. So thank you all, and we'll look forward to being back together tomorrow.
thanks, Wiley.
Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you. Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.